Welcome to the longest running poker space. I'm the original queen of spaces, the first lady of poker spaces, the original female OG of spaces. All true, but yet all a troll. This is Sherry Pluskota. I'll be hosting tonight, and my co hosts are all running around with their families, so they'll be in and out of the space as we move along this evening. And, sometimes real life gets in the way. Just a reminder, I'm hosting the seventh official Spaces Meetup game on June 26th at the Bellagio Poker Room in Las Vegas, and that'll start promptly at 2 p.m. Let me know if you plan on attending. Even if your plans might change because you might make a day two of a tournament or have to play another flight of another tournament that day, no problem. We're just trying to get rough numbers to ensure we have enough dealers to start the day. So even if you tell me you're an RSVP today and then your plans change later, it is not a big deal. We go through it every meetup game. If you'd like to donate to the Splash the Pot items, please reach out to me and let me know. Thank you so much. Pardon me. Got a little bit of a frog in the throat. Just a reminder, you can find the recordings of my past spaces and interviews on my YouTube channel at Sherry Pluskota 9212. Please subscribe. It is free of charge. There's no paywall. Operation Poker Quilt for Charity is underway. In short, I took my poker t-shirts and turned them into a quilt to raise money to feed the homeless in Las Vegas through the Poker Gives organization. Poker Gives was started by the late, great Mike Sexton, Jan Fisher, Linda Johnson, and Lisa Tenner. Again, make a tax-deductible donation through the link I've provided, or the QR code is at the top of my Twitter feed. A $10 donation will get you one entry into the drawing, and a $25 donation will get you 5 entries into that drawing. Remember, it's a unique piece, not only because of the shirts that are involved that I used, but also I've been gathering autographs. So, and hopefully I will have hundreds of more autographs by the time we give it away. It's really a special piece. Ticket donations thus far, we have 62 tickets that have been acquired for a total donations totaling, $395. I'm starting to fear that my lofty goal of raising $10,000 may be too much. I sure hope not, but hope you can pitch in and help me feed the homeless of Las Vegas. ASG, welcome. Uh-oh, hope we didn't lose connection. ASG, are you there, buddy?
I'm at a school event, so I can't really talk much, but I'll talk to who I can.
Okay, no problem, bud. No problem. As we know, people are still trying to get through their real life as we host these spaces, and we're all about it. That's what makes it unique. I'd like to welcome my guest tonight. First of all, Joe Scales is the president of Ante Up Poker Media. Journey he began in 2008. Prior to magazine Life, Joe was in the world of marketing. Joe's Hendon Mob reflects his 2013 Best Life Cash of $472, and it's his only mob entry, making it his total life earnings. Elle is a social media coordinator at Ante Up Magazine, and she sits right beside Joe on their weekly Ante Up podcast. Although I couldn't find a Hendon Mob record for Elle, she is a poker player, and we'll get to know her a little bit better in just a moment, but I'd like to welcome Joe and Elle Scales to my space tonight. How are you folks?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Doing well. Gonna hit the ground running. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, first let me give you a little tour of the space because I know we are popping both of your spaces cherries tonight. So let me give you a little tour and get you familiar with how the space is set up. So again, at the bottom left is where you request a microphone and where you turn your microphone on and off. If there's a big lull and you shut your microphone off, that's probably the better way to do it because we get feedback sometimes. To the right of that is a little magic wand looking icon. And that is our soundboard. And we typically stay away from the soundboard because this is, although a fun space, we try to keep it serious because we have, I've invited guests to come on for an interview. So sometimes you will have somebody throw a sound out there, but mostly we avoid them and save those sound effects for when we're having some of those crazy late night spaces. Next to that magic wand is an icon with two little people. And when you click on that, it just shows you the folks that are in the space and what their role is at that moment in time. Next to that is a little heart, and that's where you can get emojis to put up in the space, and our listeners will do that as we are going through the interview and chatting here in the space. They'll give us thumbs up, a sad face, whatever, fits their mood in the conversation at the moment. Next to that, to the right, is a pair of scissors. If somebody wants to clip a live recording of something we're talking about here in the space, that's where they would do that. And then fondly is the purple pill. To the far right, it looks like a purple pill. And that is the chat for this space. And people will sometimes put questions or comments for our guests. They may not want to come up and grab a microphone, but they do have a question to ask or a comment to make. So they'll put it in the chat and we check it from time to time as we broadcast. Also, appreciate those that are retweeting the space. If you could do that for those that haven't yet, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Up at the top right corner is where you can leave the space. And sometimes you do that accidentally, no problem. Just go out and come back in. If you're having any technical difficulties, just go out and come back in and we'll get you a microphone again. Twitter spaces are not perfect, but we love the Twitter spaces because we get to talk to each other now, right now, on a hot topic, a cold topic, it doesn't matter. And we could talk to everybody around the world all in this moment in time. So I hope that helps both you and Elle get familiar with what spaces are.
That helps a lot. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I know it can be overwhelming, but honestly, it is so simple. And I think that's, what appeals to many as well. So, all right, let's get started. Elle, how about you first? Let me start with you first. Tell us about your poker. How did you start in the world of poker, playing, so forth?
Well, in addition to my social media responsibilities, I am part owner of Ante Up with Joe. We are married, so I don't want anyone to wonder about our relationship. We'll just put it out there. And ultimately, I came to the game of poker during COVID because Joe could not go play in his weekly game. And so I learned how to play two-handed blind is what I like to say, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I said, how could this even be fun for you or challenging? But I tried to play Uno with him a couple of times and he knew where I kept all my colors just within a quick amount of time. So we had to switch games.
I love it.
Yeah. And so honestly, I'm new to the game, but I've always enjoyed playing games with family. And so it's just a new strategy that I'm learning and I'm really enjoying it.
I love it. Do you prefer to play live or online?
Great question. I prefer to play live, but the online games have helped my decision making to become faster.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you do to improve your game?
A lot of times I talk with people through decisions. I review hands with Joe if we've played in the same home game. I'm attending workshops on Octopi Poker, actually.
Awesome.
So I typically like to learn from others. I'm not somebody who studies books or reads about things. I like to have sort of some type of interaction to learn from.
I love it. And there's so many great videos out there. Not only training sites, but just great videos you can tap into on YouTube and other means, right? And there certainly is enough information out there for a new poker player. Joe, how did you get started in the world of poker and just playing at this point? Let's just talk about how you started playing poker.
It's my senior year in high school. We went on a senior trip, and somebody had brought a bunch of chips and cards, and we played poker all night. And then we were supposed to get up and go on a boat and have fun, and all we could think about was getting back to the room and playing poker. And we were there for the whole weekend, and we played so much poker. And I realized um, how much I loved it, and so I just consumed every book and learned as much as I possibly could. And then the journey just kept growing, from
I
there.
love it. I love it. And I think we got a little bit of a bird's eye view about how much you love the game when Elle said that you were willing to play her with two dead hands. So
Yeah,
I really appreciated that story. Honest to God. So
you should
tell us. Go ahead.
you should ask her though, because I am not the one that taught her to play poker.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
I tried to teach her to play poker, and we went to Chicago after we had bought Annie Up, and I'll let her take it from there.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because this is a big nod to the WPA. So thank you so much for being a founding member and all the work that goes into teaching and just expanding the game to women. AJ Rudolph actually gave me a 1 hour course through
I love her.
yeah, I do too, through Poker Power, and I will never forget leaving that table. And I walked over to Joe. I said, "Okay, I'm ready." And he said, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go." And he said, "What did she tell you?" And I just started spouting off all these things and this and that and this and da 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 da. And he said, "I've been telling you the same thing for the last year and a half." And I said, "But a woman told me."
It
And
clicked.
I believed her, and she could show me how it worked. I don't know if it was just the way in which she explained it, or maybe the words she used, or
Right.
how just that 1 hour. It's not a lecture, but a 1 hour session.
Right.
A practice session. And I think it was different too, because when Joe and I were learning, it was Joe and I in lockdown. And when I was learning at a Poker Power 1 hour event, I was sitting around the table with 9 other newbies to the game, and we had physical chips and we had physical cards, and we could actually turn over our cards and look and say, "Now, why did you do this? And why would you do this?" And so on and so forth. So it could have been the visual and the live action. So that's probably what added to it. But I'm
Love that.
forever indebted to AJ Rudolph and a Poker Power lesson.
Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate your kind words coming my way as well. And I'm going to tell you, Poker Power, when they first, when I first started talking to the ladies that were running that corporation, I I really wasn't about because let me just backtrack. When they first came onto the scene, they were pushing to teach girls in middle school and high school. So one of their biggest target audience was going to be underage, in my eyes, kids.
Yes,
And so I was not about that.
right,
Uh, and I had several conversations. I'm like, I'm all about, the vision of women teaching women. I'm not about the vision of women teaching girls
right,
because um, poker is a game of gambling in the gambling world, and you can't teach it without that part of it. I'm sorry, in my eyes, you can't. And so I am just not about teaching kids how to gamble. And so I had a really I just stepped back. And then when they kind of changed their model, I was like, yes, college kids, yeah, they're over 18. I have no problem with them learning the game of poker, right? But I'm not about going into a high school and teaching girls poker. That just wasn't me. And I love all those ladies, and I love AJ, and I think they're probably approaching about 60,000. I think the last time I calculated, they're right around 40,000 women that they have taught the game of poker to. And that's amazing. and they do it in,
That's
you
incredible.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing, and I'm all about it, and I love it. Like, I love it. Once they tweaked it and, and they, were like, "Yeah, we need to, reevaluate a little bit about our target audience," and I appreciate them, you know, setting that bar in a different way. I think it's important. We all know people that have gambling habits, and so,
Mhm.
that have ruined their lives, and I'm not about that, setting
Right.
that seed. So,
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how they do their best, because I've also taken a training, a 6 or an 8 week training with them as well, and really trying to relate it back to the business world. So it's appealing
yes,
to women of all ages in the world of business because they know how to conduct themselves in business, but they also know and can relate and relay how does playing the game of poker relate to how you conduct yourself in the business world. And so
right.
the WNBA is using this now. They are hiring people to come and teach their teams how to play poker in a way to how do you negotiate? How do you save face? How do you hold your emotions? How are you handling a loss? And I find that to be such a skill that is lacking for women. We don't do it naturally. I mean, if you watch young men and young women out on the playground, who's negotiating?
Right.
Young men are. And so giving opportunities to women, we're not saying we only want to play with women, we only want to have recognition in the world for women. It's more of it's a skill that doesn't necessarily come as natural to women, but they still want to know how to do it. So
Right.
learning it through a game is a fantastic way of learning how to apply it to your life.
Absolutely. And they are doing, corporate, sessions and many corporate sessions in some of our biggest cities here in the nation.
Mhm,
And they've also gone, overseas and held classes as well.
mhm.
And every female new player that I've met personally that has worked through that program says the exact same thing you did. And that is, I learned it so quickly, and, it's critical thinking. It's, the poker face, like, don't let them see a sweat kind of attitude, which you need in the corporate world. And, there's a lot of things that apply to the corporate world from the poker world. That's for sure.
I absolutely agree. And it's one thing that I find that poker gets a bad rap.
Right.
It's so incredible the people I have met in this community. How many folks I've come into contact with that I can have lots of conversations about lots of different topics. Playing the game of poker is not a simple game. It takes a lot of
Right.
skill, it takes a lot of thought, it takes a lot of initiative. Prior to meeting Joe and playing the game more frequently, I would have just thought, it's just a bunch of gamblers. It's the hooded sweatshirts. It's the sunglasses. I don't really have space for that in my life. I'm not interested. But the more poker players I meet, the more I realize what they actually do bring to the table. And I mean, like the table of life. I mean, it's
Right.
it's pretty phenomenal, what poker players do outside away from the felt too, you know?
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Joe, can you tell us how you became a part of the Ante Up Magazine family?
Well, it's kind of a funny story because what Scott and Chris had this for the longest time, and I would contribute. So I would write into the show. I would, I had an article or two in the magazine, but when I was listening one day after COVID, um, and they said they were going to sell it, and um, I was I got excited immediately and emailed them, and then I realized, oh yeah, I have another person in my life that I need to run this by.
So I'm just going to jump in and pick up because he walked in the front door after work and said, they're selling it. And I said, who is they and what are they selling? Like, what kind of conversation is this? And he said, you know that poker podcast that I listen to when I drive between the branches and I'm meeting, with people at the bank? And I said, yeah. He said, they're selling it. And I said, did you email them? And he just stopped and he looked at me and he said, yes.
I love it.
The rest is
I
history.
love I
Yeah.
love it. And I know I mentioned it to you, Joe, on the phone. When the magazine, when I heard and another friend of mine heard about it, uh, being up for grabs, we actually discussed buying it. And the discussion went for a couple of days, and then we finally decided, yeah, we just don't know enough. And she lives in another country. And even though we have a learning curve, which we both could tackle with not a problem, logistically, she would have to, move to the States probably. And, yeah, probably wasn't going to work out. So I'm
Right.
very happy you guys bought it because we really were concerned that, it was going to go to the wayside like many other publications before
Right.
it.
Well, I was concerned about that too, and I had concerns myself after the initial contact with them. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, wait, I live in a area where the nearest casino is hours away,
Right. Right.
and how am I going to make this work? But um, but the game is the game, whether you're playing in home games all over, or you're driving to the casino, or just a bunch of buddies getting together. It doesn't matter. The game is the game, and there's certainly more of us everyday poker players than there are of the pros.
Absolutely. Now, tell me, I'm going to just kind of break down some of the things you guys do and we'll discuss them so we can get our listeners a little more familiar with all the things you guys dabble in. And one of those is a Patreon. So tell my listeners what they could find through your Patreon.
Sure. So on our Patreon page, we try to put up as much bonus content on there as we can. Although the big bonus to being a part of our Patreon page is our monthly games. We have a Hold'em game every month, and we have a mixed game, which we change up every month. And it's $5 to join the Patreon, and then the winner of each of those games gets $50, and we put a bounty on our previous month's winner of that. So
Nice.
um, they the real thing is, and I didn't it didn't hit me what it meant to some of the people to play in that game until some of the people weren't able to make it, and they were like, this is the game we look forward to every month. So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. And I
Yeah.
get it. At one point in time, well, in COVID, I was part of the crew over at Flophouse Radio, and we did a home game and we were broadcasting live on the radio,
Yeah.
Flophouse Radio at the same time. And so we could like shit talk to our audience and then they would shit talk back to us in the chat, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it was a blast and we had so much fun. And I have some friends that come to my meetup games and enjoy our spaces that have come with me with the Flophouse game crew. And I'm going to tell you, we played 3 nights a week, and those customers were and listeners were so devoted to what we were doing,
Mhm.
and we did it for bragging rights. We didn't even have money to give away. We didn't have prizes to give away, and then it grew into people donating stuff. We would interview folks would come on like we did Joe Stapleton one time, and he gave us like a WPT backpack full of stuff to give away.
Nice.
And so what yeah, and so we did like quarterly like big tournaments. So you had to qualify by I think coming in first, second, or third in one or two of the weekly games. And then you got to go to the quarterly game. And by the quarterly game, we got prizes donated. But I'm going to tell you, it was strictly bragging rights. And we had ring and bracelet winners playing with us for just pure bragging rights.
Right.
And none of us, I mean, and so I get it when you say people look forward to it and they're like, hey, this is where I want to be once a month or once a week. I get it.
Yeah.
And it's until you're involved with that, do you really understand that that's even a possibility?
Right, exactly.
Um,
And we do kind of a similar thing where we get into Discord, and we'll turn the cameras on in Discord, and we are all in there talking. Even we're not at the same table necessarily, but we
Right.
can still sit in there and talk and keep an eye on the other tables and see how the hands are going. And like you said, needle each other a lot.
Absolutely. And I think I don't like to play. I'm going to tell you, my listeners know I don't like to play online because I just get bored and I'm dozing off and I just want to shoot myself. I mean, I just do not like to play online. I want to scratch my own eyes out. But I would play that Flophouse gang, and now I'm part of the Green Visor gang, which you'll see some of their members in the audience. They do a home game, and they've been trying to get me to play their home game for the last 2.5 years, probably. And finally, in the last month or 6 weeks, I finally played, and they're like, "Oh my God, you play every day?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not because I love online poker, it's because of you guys. Like, I want to spend time with you guys talking crap and having
Right.
fun." You know what I mean? And so, other than that, I would not be playing. No, thank you. I'm good. Like, honestly, I could probably do a challenge. Somebody could probably do a prop bet with me about online poker, and I would probably lose it because I wouldn't want to stick with it. But anyway, tell us what else we could find in your Discord channel.
That's where we honestly where most of our interaction is. So everybody gets in there and really, like you said, giving each other a hard time or congratulating each other on wins. They'll post
Right.
their pictures. We've got it broken down into just general, or they can get into another channel on there and talk about the podcast, or they can get in there and talk about the magazine. And then the voice channels is where we jump into the audio and video while we're playing.
I love it. I love it. I love what it's all about. Anything poker, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. Now, I'm just going to direct this to Elle because I know she's your social media guru. And I just feel like this next topic would come under her umbrella. But if not, then Joe, you could give us the details. But I know y'all are teaming up with Poker Player Cruises and Lupe Soda over at the Lips organization to host an Alaskan cruise. Can you give us the dates and maybe some ports that you guys will be visiting?
Yeah, absolutely. And you put me on the spot there. I haven't memorized all the ports, so I'm going to pull this up while we're chatting. We are headed out for an Alaskan, a 10-day cruise to Alaska and British Columbia. So we will be sailing from San Francisco on August 11th and returning on August 21st. If you guys are interested in satelliting in, if you check and you go, oh, that's a little stiff price right now, but I have the time off and I'd like to go, we are running satellites on Bluffers. For more information, you can go to our website. But we are going to have multiple days at sea, which means we can play all day long.
Yep.
And then we have 4 stops. There'll be 3 in Alaska and 1 in British Columbia. So I'm going to pull that up as we are chatting and I can tell you more about it. But inside rooms start around 1,700 and mini suites run all the way up to 2,800 to 3,000 for the 10 days. And initially we were like, woof, that's a pretty steep amount. But when you think you're on a floating city, that includes all of your food, all of your taxes, all of your tipping. So everything in that price is included. And not to mention, folks like Jan Fisher and Linda Johnson are going to be sailing with us. And Lupe Soto with Lips, of course. So there's going to be Lips events. There's going to be Ante Up events. There's just going to be Poker Player Cruises events. And so we'll have cash games, we'll have tournaments, we'll have so much fun. I mean, that's what we're there for, right? To be floating, playing, and enjoying each other's company is our goal. There's going to be giveaways. What else am I missing, Joe?
I think.
How about? Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I was just saying one of the things I'm looking forward to is, I mean, I've never been to Alaska, and so I've never seen anything like the Northern Lights. They say this is the best time of year to see the Northern Lights.
That is right. That is true.
So I'm looking forward to that. And then in the poker room, we're gonna have a tag team switch. game, and
Yeah.
I am so looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, you can't stop talking about that tag team switch.
I know.
Super. He's like, forget the 1-2 game or the 5-10. Let's just play tag team switch.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
If I could,
Okay,
and,
I'm going to tell you they do, and let me just interrupt you for a minute.
yeah,
If they do the tag team switch game that I've done with the Lips folks before,
Mhm.
yeah.
it's I don't know if they've changed any of the rules or tweaked it at all, but actually you could change partners, or they like blow the whistle, so to speak.
Yeah.
And it could be in the middle of a hand,
Yep.
and you're changing partners.
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
changing seats with. I'm going to tell you. I want you to get back to me after you do it and let me know what you think, because it is quite an interesting concept.
Mhm.
And yeah, I want to hear back from both of you after you do it and let me know what you think.
I've played
If they
one
change
similar.
partners, I thought you
I've
start
played
off
one
with.
similar.
ASG, your mic is
Sorry,
on.
I was just saying when you said change partners, I thought you were saying you start off with one team and then.
ASG, we cannot hear you, buddy. I'm so sorry. There is just too much background noise. I hate that. If
Yeah.
you want to put in the purple pill, ASG, we'll be happy to read it out loud for you, buddy. Go ahead, Joe. Or was it? I forgot who was talking.
I've played one similar, where it was they would draw things out of a hat and be like, if you're wearing blue, switch with your partner, or if you're wearing flip flops, things like that. So, not everybody switched all the time,
Right.
and
Well,
I loved it.
right. And I'm going to tell you that they just at one point did like maybe 3 switches within 3 minutes.
That's a little
And
intimidating.
well, and I had a partner that is handicapped. And then we were up on the stage. And so for us, it was logistics. It was a nightmare for him. And had we known that was going to take place, we probably would have requested a seat change before we started, but we had no idea what how they were going to do it. And that's on us for sure. But so it was rough for our team. But I just want to hear what other people think about it, because I heard the scuttlebutt that day, and many loved it and some did not. But I would
Sure.
say the majority did love it.
I think anytime you're playing something different like that, you're going to have some people that don't like it.
Of course. Yeah.
It's you've got some people that just want to play Hold'em, and then
Right.
you've got some people that only want to play mixed games. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just would be curious. Definitely shoot me a DM after you play it and let me know what you guys think, because for me, the jury's out. I need to play it one more time so I can have a better feel for it, just because of what was going on with my partner. We really couldn't focus on the poker. So definitely going to try it again for sure.
Yeah.
Tell us how we booked the cruise. Who am I contacting? How am I contacting them?
So you can go directly to pokerplayercruises.com and everything is listed there. You can also go directly from our site, anteupmagazine.com. There is a large picture of an Alaskan cruise ship, the Princess cruise ship that we'll be on. Click that link and it'll take you right to Poker Player Cruises to get all the information. You will be calling a gentleman called Don. His name is Don Neely. You may recognize him from Card Player Cruises in years past. He has helped with their reservations. He's now working for Poker Player Cruises. So he's very experienced in booking. He used to actually work and live on cruise ships. So we trust his booking experience. And they'll get you all sorted out with how to sign up, when to pay. I believe it's $100 deposit, and then the rest of the deposits will be due shortly because we're almost 90 days away from sailing.
That's insane.
Wow, it's going to come quick.
Yeah.
It's going to come quick.
It is.
So just recapping, it's a poker player cruise, and it is 10 days debarking from San Francisco and going to 4 ports, 3 in Alaska and 1 in BC, leaving port on August the 11th, returning on the 21st. And of course, all the details can be found on the Ante Up website. Now, you made mention of Bluffers Poker. So I know you guys recently partnered up with Eric Morris over at Bluffers Poker. Tell us what that means for you guys. What is that relationship? What are you guys doing?
So really what it means is we're giving the everyday poker player more opportunities to play in a safe space online. That's ultimately what it means. We initially started into this partnership with Eric because we wanted to run satellites to a wide audience and not necessarily in person to be able to go on the cruise, because we've heard from several, listeners and readers, I'd really like to go, but would you do a satellite to see if, I don't have the extra cash laying around? I mean, I don't know how much gas is where you live, but it's already almost close to $5 here. So I know out west it's upwards of $6. So even just the necessities are more expensive these days. So initially, Lupe Soto said, hey, how about you talk to Eric about satellites? And we're like, this is perfect. But the more and more that we have conversation with him, and if you want to check out our podcast, he was on with us today. It's really just a place where if you want to play a low stakes game and you're not near a casino and you're like, gosh, it's 9 o'clock, I'd really like to play some poker. They run games from 9 a.m. Eastern until 2:30 in the morning Eastern time. Right. So there's always a game. There's always an opportunity to play. They have freeze outs on Wednesdays. They have free rolls. They have all sorts of stuff. Lots of different price points available. And it's easy. The transactions are safe. You don't have to put in a lot of money to be able to play. And they run all sorts of promotions. So I know they sent 11 women to the Lips Spring Festival. Right, they were able to do that. And it's all based on participation. So the more people who participate, 1 in 10 people are going to win this trip. It's a $3,500 package. So it includes your airfare, an inside or a window cabin. And then you'll have some extra cash left over to get enrolled or signed up for events.
And check out San Francisco. Yeah, while you're there.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I guess
absolutely
Eric is from San Francisco, so he was talking about we definitely have to allow them to have some money to check out San Francisco while they're there.
Yes, that was a very important part of our negotiation. You've got to go see the city. So
I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love that there's opportunity for folks to earn that poker player cruise via a satellite.
Us too. We're excited about the opportunity and what it opens up to folks who may have $20 to play in a game or 35 to take a chance. And there's satellites into the satellites, guys. So it's a very small buy-in for a big possibility.
Right.
Love it. I love it. Now tell us about your live poker tournaments. I know you guys just had a series in Chandler, Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when is the next series and where?
So our next one technically is the cruise. Mm-hmm. And then after the cruise, then we'll go to Schenectady, New York. And then we have San Diego, and then we have the Venetian.
Mm-hmm. So typically our tour stops are spread far and wide. And if you're listening and you'd like to have one nearby, let us know. We've got some calls out to some card rooms in Texas. We're looking in Oklahoma. But basically we go for anywhere from 7 to 10 days, and we're there giving out goodies, hats, t-shirts. I always take our signature red and white mints with us that we run out of every single time.
She likes it. She likes to rub this in my face because she initially said we need to take mint, and I was like, that's stupid. We don't need to take mint. and they were gone, and we had to go buy more before we even left.
Poker players like mint, and it's good for the whole table if everybody's breath smells good. So come on. you know.
And they fit in the backpack real
Yes,
easy.
they
You know,
do.
they fit in the backpack,
Yep.
and we need gum and mints at the
You
table.
got to have something, and you never know what we're going to have.
Yeah.
We like to sometimes have, I don't know, branded M&Ms. We've been known to pass out blue light glasses because let's just face it, poker players aren't only just playing poker. Sometimes they go out to the slots. Sometimes they're playing online poker late at night. You got to take care of your eyes.
And my favorite is that when we handed out these blue light glasses, and we keep getting pictures of people that are wearing them out and about wherever.
Yeah,
So,
or their kids are wearing them too.
Yeah.
It's very
It's
fun.
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Since you brought up merch, I'm going to hit you up for some. If you'd like to give us
Sure.
some for the meetup game, we would love to have it for our Splash the Pots.
For
That'd be
sure,
fun, yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Once we're finished up here, just let us know where to send it.
I would love that. And if you want to send me an extra t-shirt, then when I'm making another poker t-shirt quilt,
Okay.
we'll include that. So it could just be a medium or a large t-shirt. And if you guys want to autograph it with a Sharpie,
Oh, that's fun.
excuse me, a Sharpie on the front and the back, if there's something on the back that we can use on the quilt, we will.
Oh, cool.
And we'll try to include you on the next quilt,
That
okay?
would be fun.
We would love that.
That would be fun. I heard you mention that at the beginning, and I know we talked about it a little bit, but tell me more about Poker Gives too.
Oh, Poker Gives. Okay, so Poker Gives is an organization who was started, um, as I mentioned earlier, by Mike Sexton, Linda Johnson, Jan Fisher, and Lisa Tenner. And they started it so they could give back to the community. They did well in the world of poker, and they wanted to give back to their community. So they formed Poker Gives, and Poker Gives on a weekly basis every Monday. You have lots of volunteers cooking food and packing cars and vans and trucks to take it out to a designated area that is usually the same place in Vegas. Every Monday night, they feed the homeless. And in the winter, they bring blankets to give out and hats and gloves and whatever donations they can give. Um, they absolutely take and give those donations to the folks on the street. And so my mom, when I was growing up, never passed a homeless person. Of course, back in those days, you didn't see them very often, but she never passed a homeless person that she didn't help. Now, she didn't believe in giving them money, but she'd take them right inside a restaurant or if there was a store nearby and let them get some things for themselves. And so for me, it was, an easy fit. When I thought about doing the quilt, it's something I did for my children out of their old T-shirts from sporting teams, band T-shirts, shooting T-shirts. My son was in 4-H, so he was a shooting um, kid, whatever. I can't think of what it's called, but anyway, so that's how the quilt kind of came about, and yeah, here we are.
Nice.
Here we are. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it turned out and it's taken momentum. Like it's been a wonderful experience this far. And I'm sure when I get to the WSOP with it, it's going to be even a better experience.
Yeah.
So pretty proud of it.
I love that.
Me too. We're all about how we can give back to the community and how poker and the game can be seen for good.
Yeah, what we call it, we call it, whenever we're doing something like that, we call it bet on better.
Love it. Love it. And I know you guys host tournaments and give to charity all the time.
Yeah.
As much
Yeah.
as we can.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
So do you want to tell us about some of those charities or what inspired you to choose those charities?
So, one of our favorites that it was actually our first one was Camp One Step in Chicago, and we love them because they focus on camp for kids with cancer, but not just the kids with cancer, their families as well. And we've been a part of their organization in some way, shape, or form since we started, actually. And so they're kind of near and dear to our hearts, just totally from that standpoint as well.
We have several cancer survivors and then those that we've lost to cancer in our family as well.
Of course.
So,
Of
yeah,
course.
my stepmother is a colorectal cancer survivor. She's also survived breast cancer. Joe's mother passed from colon cancer. My uncle had brain cancer. In our family, we say we hate the C word.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so we also knew from those experiences that the individual who has been diagnosed, of course, goes through, you name it, from treatment to the psychological aspect of it, to the weight of, am I able to work, so on and so forth. But their family members do too. And this was the first organization that we came across that was focused on not only the patient or the person enduring this nasty disease, but also focuses and looks to the siblings who are impacted. Because a lot of times, siblings are not forgotten, but they're also expected to chip in and be a part of this treatment process, and they're thinking, I didn't choose this either,
Right.
Right. Right.
and then parents, like, in general, to see your child experience camp, whether it's an art camp online or it's a ski camp in the winter or it's a summer camp around a lake or it's a virtual camp if they are immunocompromised and they're not able to go and physically be in spaces where kids their ages are. Nothing brings you more joy than to see your child have joy in the midst of a difficult time. So we really found
Absolutely.
we really found that to be one. We also just participated in an autism event in Schenectady, New York. We partnered with Rivers Casino there. And really and truly, Joe and I have always just said, we all have the ability to give something. So we will play, locally in one that sets up a dog park.
Yeah.
Because there are communities that everybody has a dog and they love it, but nobody has the capital to build a place where they can meet up and let their dogs run free. I mean, we've played in you name it for a cause. If we know there's a need and we can support it, we do.
Absolutely.
I love that. I absolutely love that. All right. I'm going to totally switch where we're going with this conversation. Recently, I had a space with Blaise Bourgeois, and there seems to be, I'm sure you guys are aware of it, a predatory kind of takeover of the poker media. As we're learning about some of these SEO companies within poker media as well as other outlets. Do you have any comments on that topic?
I don't know enough to be able to comment because we've talked about it. I know, it's been a topic just the same as with anybody else, but you know, I don't want to throw out names, but we were talking about it with another organization that has recently gone through some changes. That should clear it up if anybody knows. But it was bought by another company specifically to promote their one property, their one gaming operation, and it's honestly, it's sad to see because this particular company's been around for a long time, and it's not leaving per se, but it's not going to be the same.
And it's forever changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Forever changed, and not necessarily in a good way. I mean, time will tell here in the next, I would say, 12 months to 18 months, honestly, if it survives.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is also somewhat of a topic of that we didn't talk about it directly with Eric from Bluffers, but the increase in technology, the use of AI, the need for speed is what I call it. Like this constant need to have so much content out there all the time, and using that as your driver rather than focusing on real people and
Right.
what they want and what they need
Right.
and where they want to be and what they're interested in hearing. You know, it just seems to me that this is could be damaging.
Yeah, and Sarah, you and I have talked about that just with your article.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, and the folks, for just a little bit of background for you guys, my listeners know how I feel about AI because we've approached this subject in the past. But go ahead.
well, just it. I told you, at the time when we talked before, I feel like if you're using AI, that's going to uh, people aren't going to trust you as much because it's not your voice.
Exactly.
Um, and sure, you may be able to get more out there quicker. You may have more people that have eyeballs and watches or listens or whatever on the content because you're getting it out there faster. But at the
Right.
end of the day, when we put out a podcast, when we put out a magazine, I step back and I look at that and I'm proud of that.
Exactly. And it makes sense. Like it's quality product and it makes sense. So many times you'll listen to something or read something that AI has done and you're like, wait,
Yeah,
what? Like it's so obvious that the person didn't write it. And if you're claiming to be a writer,
exactly.
in my opinion, if you're claiming to be a writer, then you should be writing.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem if somebody uses AI to make a gift or a an ad. Like for my
Mm-hmm.
space, I use that purple background, and I just decided this year that I was going to use that same purple background for all of this year's interviews.
okay,
So when you look at my YouTube channel, you'll know that that's a live interview. I created that. It's not AI, but I know people. I've actually had people say to me, "Your life would be so easy if you." Just used AI to create that ad. And I'm like, but you have to understand, I enjoy creating that ad. Now, it may not be as fancy and schmancy as something AI, but I'm proud of that ad, right? Because I made it. But if you're a writer, in my opinion, and you're not writing, I'm certainly not going to buy your book if you tell me you've used AI for it.
right.
Yeah, and I'll throw another opinion in the ring. Just being an educator as well. That's the hat I wear 90% of the time. And AI is a tool. It's a great starting
Right,
place. It's a great place to get ideas. I think it's a great place to create itineraries for vacation. It's a great
Sure.
place.
right,
It's a great place to get new recipes. It's a great place to get started, but it could also be a dangerous place, and it can also be something that there's no emotion in AI, right? I was
right,
listening to an interview the other day that it can regurgitate information, but it doesn't replace the human creativity and the human element of being in community and doing things together. So if you simply need information or you need a starting point, I think it's a great tool. It's not the end all be all, and it can never create as we create, I don't think.
right. Well, and I'm going to tell you, I've never used one. So I don't have, people are like, install Chat PT or whatever it's called. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I really don't see the need. Yeah, I could probably do some things with it to make my life simpler. But for me, the learning curve, what it would take for me to learn it, I'm like, I don't want to waste my time trying to learn it. I'll just do what I need done.
Mhm.
Right, right.
I'm a little stubborn in that way. I'm going to introduce you guys to, I'm assuming it's Isaac behind the Playful Primates account. Isaac is another one of my co hosts. Are you there, Isaac? Welcome.
Well, if my signal is working and y'all can actually hear me, I am here.
Hi,
Yeah,
Isaac.
looking at
Hey,
you.
We hear you.
Cool, cool. Uh, I had to chime in real quick because y'all talking about AI. Okay, so Sherry, you told me 2 years ago that online playing is not cool and you'd never do it. right? So I'm gonna take the same stance with that with AI. Okay. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is for folks who think that, AI is not hard to learn. So there's not really a learning curve. The coolest part about AI in this era is that you can talk to it and you don't have to use it to create, but it's a pretty good tool for creating. Like I've done graphic stuff most of my life and I use AI as a tool
Mhm,
as
Sure.
if it makes sense, right? Now, if
mhm,
it's your absolute creativity in a bag, then yeah, I get you. There are some people that do try to be very advantageous with that, and that sucks, right? Like for example, I'm in the NFT world. 2, 3 years ago, when AI started coming out, every collection was completely AI, and that is where you could say, yeah, it started killing creativity because people weren't looking at it for the creative purpose. They were like, oh, I could generate a 5,000 piece collection right now and go sell it and then rug
Yeah.
everybody, and that became the mode, right? But I do feel that it should not be used for writing, for example, which is why I love what Sherry was saying about that part.
Right.
I think when it comes to that, you still have to know how to write on your own because the one thing about AI is that too many people use it thinking I can skip over everything with this, and that's not the
Right.
case. Because you'll still get caught up. And nowadays, one thing on X, for example, now X will tell you when something is AI,
Oh,
which is very cool
yeah.
because like they can't just pull the wool over your eyes anymore about it.
Right. Uh,
And by the way, love what I heard about everything y'all doing. We have a Discord as well. I'd love to join y'all Discord and
yeah.
come over there. Hopefully, like playing some games.
we would love it.
I'm very happy that y'all gave Sherry a platform for her article. That was awesome. And that's about all I gotta say. Much love.
Thanks, Isaac. We look forward to hanging out with you.
Yeah. And to your
Thanks, Isaac.
and to your point, Isaac, um, the 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 massive things that AI can do, I don't know, but I do I do some things. um, like for instance, our thumbnail today for our YouTube. Then I wanted a cartoonish picture of us doing the podcast. Then that was easy for it to do. And that I know I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes because I know that's
Right.
obvious and what it is, right? It's I think the scary thing about AI is when somebody is trying to pawn something off as their own.
Or
Yes.
utilize it to replace a true human interaction. And I'm
Right.
sure, just like the dark corners of the web, there can, it is not truly a human. So you cannot I don't believe you can use AI for therapy or use AI to ask a genuine heart emotion needed or super super complex question, but it can definitely provide information to make you think more. But I think that's the part that is scary to me is sometimes we're trying to replace it with another person, and that's difficult.
I totally agree. And Isaac is a very good friend of mine. He co-hosts with me all the time and has for years, as well as ASG, and sometimes Barry down there has as well. And he is always pulling me kicking and screaming down the road of something. And and he definitely wants me to get on the AI train and for some of the creative things I do in the background. And I appreciate him for that and his friendship and his kind words for sure. As long as he brought it up, I'm just going to continue on. As many of you, have heard me screaming from the mountaintops about it, I definitely have to thank Joe and Ante Up Magazine for publishing my very first poker article. So thank you, Joe. Elle,
Yeah.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and I've said it already once before, but I hope it's not your last one. I loved having it in there and can't wait to see more from you.
Well, I appreciate that. And I have something that I'm going to start to work on hopefully this next week. It's going to be a little bit of time consuming because I have to go back and listen to some things that will be a little time consuming, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. So I appreciate the opportunity, and I definitely look forward to writing some more articles for sure. I want to talk about the process of, just in case somebody else has the dream of wanting to publish an article. And it could be not necessarily only a poker article. Maybe they want to put something in a National Geographic, but I would imagine the process is maybe a little bit different, but yet the same. So, just a little bit background because some of my listeners know, some of them don't. Um, a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, encouraged me to write an article, and which I did. Rough, yeah, it was rough, but it was a starting point. And I shopped that article around to a couple of magazines, so to speak, or publications, Poker Media, and some of the responses kind of took me by surprise. And I say that because in my mind, somebody writes an article and they contact a publication and submit the article, and that article is either received and bought, so to speak, or there it's refused, right? And so, if your article is accepted for publication, you would get a stipend of some kind for your work. Now, you know, boy, was I wrong. Some of the responses I got were. The topic isn't being talked about in the general world of poker, so they didn't want to even touch the article. Uh, we Another response was, we aren't taking any freelance articles at this time. And the response that probably blew my mind, that was from several different outlets, was um, they provided me with a price for me to pay them to publish my work.
Wow.
And
Well,
I honestly was blown away because I was like, wait, what?
right, and we talked about the reasoning, right? Because
Yeah,
there are advertorial kind of articles, and
right.
there are people that pay for their link to be in articles and things like that. And the thing you have to be careful with those, coming back to the AI part, is that a lot of those are just AI written articles to put a link in.
Right,
So,
right. Which we
um,
talked to Blaze about the other day. And so, after I read his article, which of course was after what you and I had discussed, and I read his article and I was like, oh, this is really like the bird's eye view for me, and put a lot of the puzzle pieces into place. Because with every email from these other publications and media outlets, I was more confused. I was like, what is going, like, what am I missing here? Like, what am I not understanding about this process? To me, it seemed very simple, straightforward. I submit it, you like it, you buy it. If not, you tell me no thanks. But it was nothing like that. And as Joe made mention, um, some of the things that the poker media outlets do, and I'm sure other outlets as well, is what you really pay. If I were, one example would be, I would pay for an article or something, a bleep to be put in there, but it's more about the link that's with that bleep
right.
that I'm paying for. So it's driving traffic to my webpage, or it's driving traffic to my Twitter account, or whatever,
Yeah,
TikTok or whatever. So you're paying for that linkage, right? And so I
exactly.
don't want anybody to be confused that, you're paying for the article to be published. And I'm going to tell you, I was confused there for like 3 days. I was talking to my friends and I was like, what am I missing here? So I want you to tell people what your process is for article submission, Joe.
So it's different if it's on our website. Our website is a whole different process, and that would be where there would be those links and things like that. Our magazine you know, the magazine is for people to be able to consume. I'm not looking for somebody to put a link in there to advertise their um whatever, their
Right.
site or something like that. Um the magazine, if you want to pay for an ad, we can put an ad in there that people know is an ad. But if somebody wanted to freelance, put an article in the magazine, they could send it to me. They can send it to editor at anteupmagazine.com. I would look it over, and there's no, it is exactly, none of our writers are paid. So it is just to get your name out there. And
It's truly a labor of love. It's
yeah,
truly a labor of love when it comes to being a contributor to the magazine. So any usual contributors you see, any ambassador, none of these folks are taking payment for their articles. They're writing for the growth of the community and the growth of the game, and ultimately that's what our articles encompass. We are always looking for new topics. We are always looking for writers. We're always looking for guest writers. You know, it doesn't mean if you write 1 month that you have to submit something every 4 weeks, you know.
right.
We like to have lots of perspectives. We like to have lots of contributions. You know, we have anything from someone, our home game hero, to our pastor of poker, who is really out there looking to help people who have gambling problems or addictions. We have people who are always on the hunt for where is the next tournament. We have one of my favorites is our Poker Beats column, and
Yes,
it's someone who reviews music that happens to have poker topics in them. So, and I'm always impressed with the number of songs that he comes up with, because it's quite fascinating actually how many of these he finds.
I'm going to give
I
him a
love
shout
it.
out, Rob Fulfer, and he is a music encyclopedia.
Yes. Yes.
You know, I've always admired people that are music or even movie encyclopedias.
Yes.
Like the people that can just tell you when a film was made, who was in it, or even will recite a line and you'll remember it came from, 1999 Tootsie movie. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, I don't remember it. I admire those that can, though.
Right. Yeah. We all have those people in our lives that'll just shout something and you're like, what are you talking about? Oh, that was in that other movie that I haven't seen or whatever.
Right, right.
And,
I agree totally.
uh,
I just need to make a little announcement, you guys. Our daily WSOP and All Vegas Poker daily coverage is going to start on May 25th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 9 a.m. Vegas time. So that daily coverage starts May 25th, you guys. All right. I want y'all to tell us about your podcast. When is it? And tell us what you like to broadcast about.
so every Friday, um, I wish I could give you an exact time on a Friday, but sometimes it just takes a little longer than others.
Hey, we
But
get it.
but yeah, I very rarely, and it's usually only been emergencies that we have not been able to get it out on a Friday and it goes out on a Saturday. But for the most part, it is always, I'm very adamant that it has to go out on Friday. And we have really four segments. We have five. One is just the intro where I just kind of introduce any announcements that are going on. And then Elle and I will be what we say around the table for table talk. And table talk is anything you would talk about around the poker table.
Love it.
Yeah,
Anything you will talk about.
it can
So,
be anything from art to poker to
food,
food, whatever.
the weather.
And then
That doesn't sound very exciting, the weather. We get into poker. We get into poker news. We get into just
The gossip of the day.
yeah, but and so it could be anything poker news, it could be opinions, it could be
Sure.
something that's happening, or it could just be something that we're like, we have to mention this.
Yeah.
You know, so
Today we talked about the NHRA.
Yeah, the National Hot Rod Association, because they've got some cool stuff going on. You just never know what's going to come up. And then you go into.
And then I have Call the Floor with Elliot Schechter. And Elliot is a poker room manager in a casino in California.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, our listeners will send in a situation that happened in their game and ask Elliot how he would rule on that.
In a casino.
Yeah.
And I would also like to toss in, you know, if folks listen to this live or listen to a recording, Matt, I call him Microphone
Savage.
Man. See, he's going to kill me if he listens to this. Matt Savage listens very closely, and he will write us and let us know if we are on point with the rules.
That is true. That is
So
true.
we are held highly accountable in this situation because he listens every week religiously, whether he skips through our table talk or not. He always listens to the segment on how it would be ruled in a casino to ensure, in fact, it was accurate, and we have to fix it if not. So it's actually a really great learning opportunity.
Yeah, but he said that Elliot is right almost 90% of the time.
Right? Yeah, and knowing Elliot for what, 4 years now, he is consistent as the day is long. And I would love to be able to play in any room that he is the manager, because he's very even keeled. He knows the rules backwards and forwards. And he doesn't have like a dominating presence. It just is. This is just what it is. And it's not up for discussion, because when I say this, that is what it is.
So, Matt Savage is known as Towley here in this Poker Spaces realm.
Love it.
He has hung out many hours with us, and so we get the hammer too from Matt about things that we may not be representing 100% correctly. And people that know me know that I want it to be correct, not right. So I always accept corrections to whatever we're covering in one of my spaces for sure.
And I applaud him for that education piece, because he's not coming at you wagging his finger. He really is just, no, let's get it right. And I appreciate that.
So I'll tell the funny story on Elle though, because because she hadn't been in the game as long. And so, of course, we all know Matt Savage. And she's like, we had somebody from the WPT on, and she was asking them what it was like to have that microphone man standing behind them talking into the microphone while they're playing. And I immediately get a message from him. He said, "Microphone man."
And I wrote back, "Yes, Matt. In my world, that is who you are." So it's a running joke and love language between the two of us.
Well, I just hope you don't mind if I use that sometime when he pops in. I'll be like, "Oh, there's Elle's microphone man."
Please do. Please do. It would make my heart happy. And then I'll get a message as well. So yeah, we love Matt. But the last two segments on the podcast, we have more people that write in, and they do hand of the week. Patrick and our resident fish and Joe get a hand. Somebody writes in and say, what would you do at this certain point? And it's been really fun to see Patrick's growth over the last couple of years.
Yeah. So we chose Patrick because Patrick knew the game, but he wasn't a great player. And we've all sat down at somebody and been like, why? You know, somebody that's not as experienced, and been like, why would they make that decision? Why would they do that? And so we get to hear it straight from the fish's mouth, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then the last, I'm going to introduce this. If you're going to tell a story on me, I'm going to tell a story on you.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is what you get when you get a married couple on for an evening. So
fight nice.
So always, but truthful. And here's the truth. Joe calls it his one outer, and this is something that he added to the show when we purchased Ante Up brand. And so I call him the Delilah of poker, because he is very thoughtful and very intentional in this segment in relating what can we learn from poker and apply to life. or vice versa. What have we learned from life and apply it to poker?
Right.
And so it kind of takes it down to a serious notch to end the podcast. But he's covered anything from, what presidents played poker on President's Day
That's true.
to this week he mentions Ted Lasso. So
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get in that segment as well. But I call him, that's the warm and fuzzy part. So he's the Delilah of poker.
I love that reference. And
Yeah.
who doesn't know who Delilah is, right?
Anybody under
Uh,
the age of 30 wouldn't know that.
Well, that's
True.
probably correct. You're
But-
probably not wrong.
Right?
But to that point, and I'm going to defend myself a little bit.
Of course. Please do.
To that point, we also have people write into the show that ask us relationship questions
That is true.
and things like that. And I think it's because I opened that up with my one outer. So
That is fair. That is fair. That is actually a part of this venture that we did not anticipate either.
right.
Is we do have somewhat of like a column feel. Sometimes people will call and ask for
Right.
advice or write in and ask for advice, and we welcome that because
100%.
that's what we want to be here for. So
I love that.
it's been a fun venture. When we bought the brand, we had a very intentional hope, and the first hope was to bring the podcast back, and then the magazine, and then cruises, and then the tour. And in 4 years, we've brought all 4 back, and they're starting to come out with a punch, and we're excited to see what's coming next.
Well, and congratulations to those already,
Thank you.
Those successes. That's amazing. In 4 years' time means you guys are hustling and bustling over there at Ante Up.
You got that
Uh,
right.
I want to play a little game. I normally do it with my guests called Rapid Fire, but this time we're going to do Rapid Fire couple style. Are you
Woo!
guys game?
All right, let's do it. We're into it. I
I
love
love
it. I love it. I have an article in the magazine called Snap Call with Elle, so it feels very familiar. I love it.
Oh, I love it. All right. Who's the better driver?
Me.
Whoa. She said that really fast.
Really quick.
Oh, wow.
I was trained by a cop.
I'm
so
gonna-
It
I'm
sounds
not
like a call.
disagree.
I think Joe's calling.
yeah.
I'm not going to disagree, but I was a little shocked at how quickly she did it.
Okay. Who's the better cook?
Me.
Oh,
I'm going to, well, this is tough because I have my few things that I cook really well, and she has more things that she cooks really well. So
We do actually like to cook together, so it's difficult.
That's true.
That's actually a difficult question because typically meals are done. This is not even anything we've really discussed. We just actually like fixing meals together. So
yeah.
anyhow, great
Awesome.
questions though. Keep them coming.
who's the better poker player?
Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's more competitive?
Me.
Joe's more competitive Joe's competitive in more things, but I am highly competitive against Joe. My parents actually have said he brings competitive out in you more than anybody we've ever seen.
That's
So,
true.
mhm.
That is true. And when
But
we
you're
have
competitive about things that I could give 2 shits about.
that is correct. I'm competitive
I
with
love-
myself. So
That is fair. This is
It
fair.
doesn't matter if anyone else is involved or not.
If I said you can't fold that laundry in under 5 minutes, he would say, "Yes, I can," and put a timer on it. It's ridiculous.
Now you know how housework gets done around the house.
Right? I used to do that with my kids, Joe.
Joe is a big kid.
Okay, when you guys are going out,
Yep.
To run errands or go out on a date or whatever, who's going to drive?
Probably me, honestly.
Yeah, I enjoy being passenger, and I thought I would never say that. I do like to drive, but typically, errands Joe does.
Yeah.
All right. Who cannot keep a secret?
Oh. I feel like we're both.
I think we're both
let's
really
clarify. Let's clarify because we don't keep secrets from each other.
yes,
No, no.
yeah.
Just, especially in the world of media, you
Yeah.
hear things that other people don't hear. So who keeps that secret better?
Oh, Well, I think we're both really good at it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Elle because her dad was a cop.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually confidentiality is a big thing in our realm.
of course.
But in the same vein, I may call my parents and say, "What do you think about X, Y, and Z?" I do confide in them. We have some confidants, but
I don't think
not very frequently.
I don't think we're doing a very good
We're
job
not
of
doing it
rapid
rapid.
fire.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Sherry, go ahead. I'll be fast next
No,
time.
that's exactly what I was hoping for with these questions was a little bit of back and forth between the two of you so we can really see you guys in your natural state, so to
Okay.
speak. So that was actually my last rapid fire couple style question. So appreciate the participation for sure. And I'm actually going to ask you guys if you have anything else you want us to know about that we haven't covered.
Ugh. I always ask this. I should have been more prepared for that because I always ask this question too. I can't think of anything. I just, um, you know, one of one of the greatest responses that we've had when we ask that question has been for people to not be as critical of themselves, and it kind of goes with my one outer this week. So I'm gonna just say, I hope that everybody listening is able to be critical of their game and not themselves.
I like it. How about you, Al? Anything? And if not, it's no big deal.
No, I think the one thing I would say is that may surprise people is the two voices that you hear. We are Annie Up. And
Yeah.
so we are not poker news. We are not poker.org. We are not a large organization physically. And so what you see is quite the labor of love between two, but also others that contribute. And so if you would like to be a part of that, we would love to have you. That's not a plea for help. That is just extending. If you want to jump in and join us, we would love that. And we're always looking for ways to grow and to serve the poker community. So if you know in ways that we can do that, or if you would like to participate, reach out.
That was a great.
Love that. Love that. All right, I'm going to read a couple of things in the Purple Pill. ASG, who is one of my co hosts, who's out for the evening with all the background noise, he actually put two things in the chat.
Oh.
And one was that cruise is on my birthday. Saddie me
All
in.
right,
So
join us.
so ASG needs to get on there and try to win a satellite. The other thing he wrote was there's a certain person recently who is known to use AI who wrote something incorrect and then said they mistyped, but but showed a screenshot of an AI result. They must not have actually understood when they copied the information.
Ooh, woof,
Hmm.
woof. Caught in the action is what it sounds
Yeah.
like to me.
Well, and I know who he's referring to, and it's somebody that has caused quite a ruckus here on Twitter. And yeah, I'm gonna just drop it there because I definitely don't want us to spill her name at all
Yeah.
because that's not what I'm about. But so he is referring to some of the, some that's a good example of people using AI and not disclosing it.
Yeah.
And then when they did, everybody was like, "Wait, what?"
Mhm.
uh,
Right. Right.
uh, and it was unfortunate, but here we are. Okay, I'm going to move forward, and because I want to let you guys off the hook, because I know it's Friday night. You guys have already given us your time,
We've had a lot of
but
fun.
I have enjoyed getting to know you both a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to another one of my articles being put into Ante Up Magazine. And I'm also looking forward to, because I've agreed to come on your podcast at some point,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to that too. So I appreciate the two of you, and thank you so
You're
much.
most welcome.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us, Sherry. We really enjoyed it.
I did too, and I hope my listeners did. And our future listeners, thank you for listening to the replays, because I do get a lot of folks doing that because they're busy on a Friday night. So I see Crypto and Barry and Exec Deck and Michael and D-Man and Matt are still with us. And Crypto, I think I said your name already. Appreciate you and all the folks that have come in and out of the space listening. Appreciate everybody that has. Everybody have a great weekend. If you're not at the poker table, please get outside and touch the grass. Feel the wind between your ears, right? As they used to say. Anyway, thanks everybody and good night.
Good night.
Night.